Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video I wanted to discuss the subject matter of the brand new Spider-Man movie that is going to be coming out this year. It's the third movie that stars Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and the title for the movie was just actually released a couple days ago by Marvel Studios / Marvel Comics, and it's going to be titled Spider-Man No Way Home. It premieres this end of this year, actually, in December of 2021. So basically, we have obviously understanding of not just only some of the cast that's in the movie, but obviously the timeline for it. It's been pushed back. Lots of Marvel movies have been pushed back within the last couple of years. Black Widow, the next Doctor Strange, and obviously this new Spider-Man movie as well, which will be the third one with Tom Holland. It's stated that it's obviously going to be the one that could be the last one with his contract being up, but he says that he's going to be back still in some type of capacity. I guess a renewal contract will probably be most likely signed probably after the movie comes out. I don't know if they're going to sign it before the movie comes out. We'll see what happens with test screening and whatnot. Obviously, towards the end of this year, with movie theaters opening up more. If not, we'll see what happens. But hopefully he's back. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, former Spider-Man actors in the previous movies, are supposed to be in this movie as well. It's supposed to be a Spider-Verse, multiverse movie with live action, obviously. Human beings playing the characters of Spider-Man in the multiverse in different dimensions and whatnot, just like in the video games, Spider-Man Web of Shadows and Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, that were all obviously video games and were animated, as well as the animated movie that just came out about a year and a half ago now, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which featured the Miles Morales, his first appearance on a big, huge, obviously, national stage for a movie. Obviously, even though it wasn't live action, it was still animated, and it included other actors playing different Spider-Man roles of Spider-Man, different versions of him, such as even Nicolas Cage was in it as the noir Spider-Man. So we'll see what happens with that. It'll be very interesting to see what takes place within the next couple of years now with obviously Marvel Studios with Disney and the movies that are coming out. So this is what the article states on Marvel.com, actually. So Marvel's official website says, due to some confusion between three Spider-Man stars and their uncoordinated attempt at a title reveal, which we know wasn't uncoordinated. They all did that as a ploy, a joke. Obviously, they knew what they were doing, and that's what the studio obviously probably pushed them towards doing, or they possibly they possibly volunteered to do it themselves. So Spider-Man Phone Home, or E.T. Phone Home, which I know they probably couldn't do that anyways, but unless they asked the Warner Brothers Studios about that, obviously, and Steven Spielberg, who made E.T. Not Spider-Man Homewrecker, obviously that's a joke, and certainly not Spider-Man Home Slice, another joke. Even though they all sound very fun or funny, they're all very incorrect. In the video below, you can see where this kerfuffle all started between Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon, the stars of Spider-Man, leading to a talk with returning Spider-Man director John Watts. Tom Holland was befuddled as to why, once again, he doesn't have the correct info, asked why people keep feeding him misinformation. Name me one thing I've actually spoiled, he asked his co-star. His last movie title is what Zendaya deadpans. It's obviously a comedy skit, obviously. Oh well. Even with the wrong title, the trio of Holland's, Zendaya, and Batalon all shared real new images from the upcoming movie, which opens up in theaters December 2021, which is the end of this year. Check out their social media posts below. It's said that Tom Holland's friend right here, who plays, I believe, Ned by the actor Batalon. What's his first name? His first name is Jacob Batalon. He's supposed to be playing the Hobgoblin. That's what the rumor is, that he might be playing the villain, the Hobgoblin, or maybe an alternate version of him will be playing him from another world, obviously, another multiverse, since the Spider-Man and I guess you could say multiverse, more or less galaxy. Anyways, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know about that. I believe it was confirmed that yes, Alfred Molina was supposed to be coming back playing the Doctor Octopus, aka Doc Ock, or Otto Octavius, obviously, for short. His Doc Ock is for short for his villain name. So he played Spider-Man's arch nemesis slash main villain in the second Spider-Man movie, which was obviously Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. We haven't seen him in any Spider-Man movie since then, so we'll see what happens with that. If they have any other villains pop up, obviously Michael Keaton as the Vulture, got Scorpion now introduced, but he obviously his costume wasn't put out, and obviously Shocker, but with Jamie Foxx playing Electro, and Shocker was kind of like an intro a little bit. And a couple movies ago, I believe Bokeem Woodbine, the actor, played a kind of a different version of Shocker. We'll see what happens with that, with the different villains that are going to be in the Spider-Man movie, obviously. And will this be an intro to the Sinister Six, obviously, which is Spider-Man's big, huge villains that he goes up against? Dr. Octopus, Sandman, Mysterio, Electro, Shocker. I believe Venom's one of them too. Yeah. And I don't think the Green Goblin is not part of the Sinister Six, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see about that. But the Hobgoblin is supposed to be in it, so possibly. So we'll see what happens with that. So it's confirmed now that the new Spider-Man, obviously, movie title that's coming out next year. Excuse me, that's coming out this year at the end of 2021 in December. So I give it a week before Christmas because Marvel and Disney are trying to make sure they get the most money and the most sales out of this, obviously, which is very smart. So the more people are at not in movie theaters, specific locations, it depends on where they're at, obviously, here in the United States and the rest of the world, obviously. We'll see what happens with that. The other article I wanted to show was an article from Collider, which was talking about Tom Holland's current contract situation, and we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. It says that Tom Holland says Spider-Man No Way Home completes his current contract, but if they want me back, I'll be back there in a heartbeat. I've loved every minute of being a part of this amazing world. He's also supposed to be in the video game franchise that's supposed to be coming out soon. I forgot what the game was called. He's supposed to be in it too. He's doing other movies as well. So he's doing other movies as well. We'll see what happens with that. He was in some movie recently. I forgot the name of the title of it. It was called Cherry something. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So it says Spider-Man No Way Home, starring Tom Holland, doesn't hit theaters until this December, but fans are already wondering if this might be the end of the road for Holland's Peter Parker. Indeed, the past two franchises saw Tobey Maguire tapping out after 3 movies and Andrew Garfield only getting to make 2, but Holland is in a unique position that the Marvel Studios / Sony Pictures deal has allowed him to not only lead his own Spider-Man movies, but also make impactful supporting turns and returns in MCU movies like Captain America Civil War, which was his first appearance, and also Avengers Infinity War. So we'll see what happens with that. Even if he doesn't get his own solo movie, he can appear. His new film Cherry is talked about right here. He's in some kind of action, kind of like gritty movie called Cherry. He gets to use guns and stuff, so it's different from him. So we'll see what happens with that if Tom Holland is back to play Spider-Man in some type of capacity in the next couple of years with appearances in, the new Doctor Strange movie, and obviously we'll see what happens with that. Obviously the Eternals and the new Blade movie. So we'll see what happens. Also, like I said, the next Doctor Strange, he could be in that too. So it says, when Collider owned Steve Weintraub spoke with Tom Holland during the press day for his new film Cherry, he asked the actor if he's under contract for any additional Spider-Man movies past the third Spider-Man movie that he's going to be in. Tom Holland revealed that his contract is up after this movie, but that doesn't mean he's ready to hang up the suit. Spider-Man 3 would be my last one under contract, so I've always said to them, if they want me back, I'll be there in a heartbeat. I loved every minute of being a part of this amazing world. It's changed my life for the better. I'm so lucky to be here. If they want me back, I'll be there. If they don't, I will walk off into the sunset. A very, very happy person because it's been an amazing journey. Tom Holland says Spider-Man 3 is the most ambitious standalone movie ever made. Continuing on the article, it says for a brief moment, Tom Holland was almost out of the MCU when talks broke down between Marvel and Sony after Spider-Man Far From Home was released. That was a couple of months ago. Yeah. Unprecedented with Marvel Studios talking creative lead while Sony distributed the film and reaped most of the profits. Holland was credited with helping bring the two studios back together for Spider-Man 3, and he said during our interview that as he understands the deal they worked out for Spider-Man No Way Home prevents any future negotiation breakdowns between Marvel and Sony. So if a Spider-Man 4 were to happen, they wouldn't have to bridge that gap again. The way I understood is that the agreement between the two studios has already happened. I don't think that they're going to run into the same problems as they did before, as that they were going to in Spider-Man 2. Far From Home had come out, and then the whole thing happened between Sony and Marvel. I think the two studios have worked that out. So basically, they were stating that Tom Holland jumped in and intervened and told Sony how to basically break this deal down. Even though Tom Holland's obviously the star of Spider-Man, I don't believe that actually. I don't know if he was able to just say, "Well, I'm the star of this, and you guys got to do this and that, and I'll be back, and you got to work this out." And I don't know if he also included his negotiations as well with himself or his agent. I don't know, but we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know about that. Usually, we'll see what happens with that for the next couple of years. Obviously, with him making appearances in other TV shows and movies for Marvel. I'm just the actor. He said, that said, Tom Holland says, I'm just the actor, and I was a part of a few phone calls during that process. Okay, well, we'll see about that. But obviously, he's not the executives. They could have told him to go. You see what happened a couple of years ago with Sony, and I really hate this still. I'm still obviously upset about it. Every Spider-Man fan who's a fan of Tobey Maguire is too. Spider-Man 4 was supposed to be in the tank with Sam Raimi as the director, and with his creativeness, with the rest of the cast of Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, and obviously James Franco. I don't know if William Dafoe was going to be back in some type of capacity, but Spider-Man 4 was supposed to happen with Sony. After Spider-Man 3 came out, we first saw Venom and Sandman, and then obviously Harry Osborn played the Hobgoblin type of Green Goblin character in a hybrid suit, played by James Franco. Sony came to Sam Raimi and said, "We don't need you guys. It's getting canceled. You're done, and that's it. Pack your bags, and everybody's got to go home." So that didn't happen, and a lot of people, including myself, still obviously are upset about that, because there was going to be a lot of good plans that Sam Raimi had and ideas that he had to include in Spider-Man 4, which would obviously continue to include the introduction of the Spider-Man 3 the villains that were introduced in Spider-Man 3 for the first time, obviously, which was Sandman, obviously, and Venom. And we obviously could have seen Carnage in the fourth one. That possibly would have been a very interesting, exciting thing to see. And also with the intro of the Sinister Six of main villains for Spider-Man, his main enemies. But we'll see what happens with that. It's very unfortunate that it happened. And this will be the first time Tobey Maguire has been in a Spider-Man movie since 2000. That was probably about... I'd say probably 2006. Yeah, I think 2006 was Spider-Man 3, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the year, but it's been a long time, obviously. So, yeah. So Tom Holland says, to continue on with this, that he was a part of a few phone calls during that process, but I think that they love working with each other. Of course they do, because there's lots of money involved. I think that they found a way in which it can be beneficial for both studios. Like I just said, there's lots of money involved, and I'm just kind of like a kid in the middle of it, between two parents doing an argument, as he laughs. Indeed, the deal between Marvel and Sony sees Disney/Marvel co-financing 25% of Spider-Man 3 for a 25% equity stake, and it also called for at least one more Spider-Man appearance in the near future. There is a typo in this article here. This is obviously on Collider, not Marvel's website. I was just on there. This is on Collider's website, so this is a spelling error. So at least one more Spider-Man appearance in the near future. So if I had to guess, Spider-Man will probably be played by Tom Holland one more time, and that will be in the big huge movie, which will include I heard Brie Larson's going to be in the next Doctor Strange multiverse movie, and I think that he will be in it as well as Spider-Man, and that will be his last appearance, unless they decide to renew his contract from then, and that's not going to be for another year and a half from now. So we'll see what happens with that. also hearing and seeing, you probably seen it as well. News and rumors that Robert Downey Jr. will be coming back at some type of capacity to the Marvel Universe. He might make some kind of appearances and whatnot, and we'll see what happens with that as well. I don't know, but it is possible, obviously, because, you know, just like with most superhero movies and whatnot, people have their characters killed off and whatnot, but time traveling and people being brought back from the dead always happens. So we never obviously always say this is the end for these characters, because we have to wait and see what happens. So yeah, that's the end of the article. We'll see what happens, and we see how the Falcon and Winter Soldier here and WandaVision. They had those shows on through Disney with Marvel that are happening right now, and the Loki show is about to come in June. So they're doing a lot of big things, obviously, with these shows on Disney and Marvel. But as we know, the Netflix shows, those they look like they're not really going to be a main focus anymore like they used to be. They'll be in second place. We'll see what happens with that. I know Moon Knight was supposed to be coming out. I think that's supposed to be on Disney Plus as well. But we'll see what happens. I don't believe there's going to be any more Netflix Marvel shows that are going to be new. We did see Charlie Cox state that he wanted to come back as the Daredevil. He might be in the next Spider-Man movie. I don't know. There's been talks about that. He played the Daredevil on the Netflix show for 3 seasons. The first time we seen Daredevil on camera was obviously played by the actor Ben Affleck, who played him in the 2003 movie. So we'll see what happens with that. And I did hear John Berthenell. He said he would love to come back and play the Punisher. Vincent, oh god, I forgot his last name, but he played the Kingpin in the Marvel Netflix TV show Daredevil, and also the Punisher. He played him in both shows. He said he would love to be in one of these movies as the Kingpin. He played a great role. I mean, he was in a great role. He was in a very interesting role, but he played a great part in it. He was an amazing actor. And that was obviously besides obviously Michael Clark Duncan playing the Kingpin in the Daredevil movie. That was the only time we've seen anybody play the Kingpin in a big, huge movie budget motion picture, obviously. So we'll see what happens with that. So this is what's going to happen with Tom Holland and the Spider-Man movies in the near future. He will probably be in the next Doctor Strange movie. If not, I can see him being in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and that's probably it. We'll see what happens with that. It's all a guess, obviously, but with his contract situation, we have to wait and see what's going to happen and whatnot. And it's all based off of exactly where they believe he will fit his role will be, obviously where they think he will fit correctly, and obviously what will his role be. So we'll see what happens with that. Let me know what you think about this, and obviously if you're interested in seeing Spider-Man, you can comment down below if he's one of your favorite superheroes, and also if you think that he will be in Doctor Strange, and if you think he might be also in the next Doctor Strange movie, and also the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which will be the 4th one, or possibly Thor Love and Thunder, the 4th Thor movie. Overall, I don't know. I think he might be in the next Doctor Strange movie. I think that's I have a higher percentage level of I would say when it comes to me guessing, I believe that he will be in that one, most likely. Second would probably be Guardians of the Galaxy, but we'll see what happens with that. Thank you for watching. That's all I have to say and state in regards to the subject matter of the new Spider-Man 2021 movie that's going to be coming out in this year in December, towards the end of the year, the winter time. Tom Holland will be playing Spider-Man for the 4th time overall. Oh, actually, the 4th time, the 3rd time overall in a Spider-Man movie, a solo movie, but this would be his 5th time in a Marvel movie. He was in Civil War, 3 Spider-Man movies, and he was in the Avengers twice. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. If I'm not mistaken, was he? No, he was in Infinity Wars, but he wasn't in. Oh yeah, he was. Oh yeah, he was in both. He was in Endgame as well. I forgot. Yeah, he was in both of them, of course. Yeah, so it was looking about 5 times overall that he's made an appearance on camera in different movies as Spider-Man. So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, hopefully it's also, I remember we were seeing rumors that Kraven the Hunter might be in the movie played by not they said James Maganold, who played Deathstroke in the Batman movie. In the Batman vs Superman movie. The Justice League movie. He didn't make an appearance in Batman vs Superman, but he was in the Justice League movie, if I'm not mistaken. The end credits scene, I believe he was in the intro one as well. Yeah, when he broke Lex Luthor out of jail. He will be playing Deathstroke possibly. He's playing Deathstroke. He might be playing Kraven the Hunter, or possibly Jason Momoa, who plays Aquaman. But I don't know about that. We'll see what happens. It'll be very interesting to see who's playing Kraven the Hunter in this movie. What's going to be taking place is Tom Holland's character, Peter Parker, obviously, his secret identity as Spider-Man, was revealed at the last second movie, Far From Home, by Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. He gave him away, his secret identity away, so now he's on the run. So apparently he's supposed to be on the run, and Kraven the Hunter is somebody who hunts, obviously, down people. He's like a big, huge, obviously, bounty hunter, and he's obviously very in touch with nature. So he's kind of like Wolverine in a sense. He can pick up on people's smells or scents, track people by footprints and whatnot, and obviously he's very in touch with nature and animals. So and he does take his own form of serum to give him superhuman strength, and obviously abilities whatnot like animals as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Who's playing Kraven the Hunter, and will he be in the movie in some type of capacity, because somebody's supposed to be playing him, and they're supposed to be getting paid probably by the Vulture or somebody to track down Spider-Man, who is obviously Tom Holland, aka Peter Parker. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm really excited for it. Obviously, it's just very unfortunate all these movies keep getting pushed back and whatnot, even though they're not in theaters. If they're going to be put out online, why do you have to keep pushing them back? I don't get it, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, it makes it seem like it's a huge problem at the time when it comes to putting these movies out, but it's actually not. So we'll see what happens with that. That's all I have to say again, and for Spider-Man and what Tom Holland has to do in the near future. Hopefully he still plays him again and gets a fourth movie. And since seeing as how we never got a fourth Spider-Man movie, we were robbed of that years ago by Sony, actually. So the irony is, if they give him a fourth one, obviously it'll be with him, not Tobey Maguire, and obviously Sam Raimi, which was supposed to happen. So we'll see what happens with that, and hopefully the Andrew Garfield and obviously Tobey Maguire, hopefully they're going to be in this as well as Spider-Man. They're different versions of Spider-Man in the multiverse, aka the Spider-Verse. So thank you for watching again, and that's all I have to say. Bye. Thank you.